Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Catherine from Catherine's Granny Squares. My channel is aimed at people starting on their crochet journey and then beyond. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. I would love to have you on board. Today I'm going to be looking at making another scarf. I'm just scarf mad at the moment because it's cold and I like to be warm, and I go out with the dog a lot and generally walking, and I like to vary the scarves I'm wearing. This scarf here is an infinity scarf and it's made with a James C. Brett chunky marble, and it's just done in trebles. That's all it is, and I finished with a row of slip stitch on both when I finished and when I started. I went back onto this row on top of the foundation chain just to even it out and make it look nice. That goes round my neck several times. It is quite a big one, but I want to use up my stash. So I went into my boxes, and I don't know whether any of you saw my whistle stop tour of my craft room, and you will have seen I've got some double knit yarn and some variegated double knit I need to use up. So I found these, which I think are quite nice going together. This is the variegated, that is a James C. Brett double knit, and that is, I believe, a Stylecraft, just a plain navy. And I also found these two colours, which I absolutely love. This again is a James C. Brett double knit variegated, and this one I believe could be a red heart. I've had that one in my stash for a while. It's a lovely colour. I don't know why on earth I haven't used it. So I'm going to make a small version today just to demonstrate, because I want to just say about using up my yarn, and I also want to not bore you by making a long one and keep coming back, etc. So as I say, that one on the table was made with a chunky yarn, but this is going to be two double knits put together, which in theory would make a Aran weight yarn. And for that I would normally say a 5mm, that's what they say, a 5mm crochet hook, but I want this to have a nice drape. I'm going to start off my chain with a 9mm crochet hook. I've got one here in bamboo. I haven't got many 9s, it's not a hook I have, but anyway, I've decided in my wisdom to use a 9 to start off the foundation chain. You could use any size you wish, but just make the hook, use a hook that is a size or two bigger when you're going to do your foundation chain. And then I'm going to go down, obviously I'm going to go down to an 8 afterwards. So let's just pop this aside, as well as your yarns that you're going to use. As I say, I want to use the two double knits together. You'll be using probably either the same hook size as me, or if you want to do different hook sizes you can, but as I say, just make sure that you do a bigger size hook for your foundation chain, and you'll probably make use of a stitch marker for this project as well. So we're going to start. I'm just going to do a tiny one to show you. Now if you're not sure about any of the stitches, please check out my videos, but we need to get that yarn on the hook, and we use a slip knot. There's many ways to do a slip knot, and I have got a video showing you the way I do it. Once your yarn is on the hook, we're going to do some chains. Now this big chunky infinity scarf was 170 chains I believe, but I'm going to make this one in a double knit smaller. I'm going to aim for 120, but I'll just do a small demonstration for you today. So the chains, if you're not sure, there are videos, but you take the yarn over the hook, hold on to the tail and bring your crochet hook through, over and through, over and through. So we'll just do a few chains because I want to just demonstrate how you start this scarf off. I do love making scarves and they're so quick to make. If you've got chunky yarn and a big hook, you'll have it done in no time, but I just need to use up this stash. I'm very keen on using my stash up, as you probably know. So how many have we got there? Not many. You don't really have to count with this. It's not set in stone how many chains. As I say, it depends how many times you want to wrap that scarf around your neck, or you can just do a straight scarf. But we're doing an infinity scarf today. So we're just doing a few, but you can do as many as you like. Okay, once you've done your chains, make sure that they are straight. Just take a moment and run your fingers down the length of chain, and then when you're happy that's straight, join with a slip stitch into that first chain you made. So that's into the stitch, yarn over and bring the hook through both of those stitches. You have joined. Now, as I say, I want to change my hook. So that was a 9. I'm going to go down to an 8. So basically start with a bigger hook. So I'm just going to grab both those strands. Now we're going to work in trebles. So we'll do 3 chains to represent our first treble. And then we're going to do trebles. So I don't want a gap. So I'm going to go into that first stitch there where I joined, and I'm going to make a treble. So bearing in mind that 3 chain made my first treble. Now you can take this end along with you if you wish, and we're just going to work now into each chain and make a treble. I'll just show you a treble in a moment. Let me just pop that stitch. Right, now before we go any further, let's get that stitch marker or a piece of yarn or a safety pin, whichever you use to mark when you're working, mark stitches, etc. And we've got the 3 chains there, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got the first proper treble. Now when we join, we can either join on the top of the third of this row of chains, so the third chain up, or we can join on the first stitch. I'm going to do it that way, so I'm just going to mark that first proper stitch. If you want to do it on top of the 3 chains, put your stitch marker on the third chain. Now the treble, yarn over. Let's just ignore that end for the moment, not to confuse the issue. So yarn over, go into the top of the chain, yarn over and pull through. You've got 3 loops there. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So again, if you're not sure of any of these stitches, check out the videos either on this channel or on my fellow YouTube creators' channels until you find the way it suits you to make the stitches. It won't necessarily be one video that you'll watch. You may have to watch several, and then you'll make sure that you'll find a way that's suitable for you. That feels a bit tight. No problem, just take it off and let's just make sure I get that right. Now, I can see there I've missed that, just gone through one strand. So I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to make sure I've got both strands on my hook. Just takes a little bit of patience to make sure you're catching both strands, but when you do, you get this gorgeous effect of the two, you know, different yarns. Oh, I love mixing yarns. Let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment and see. Look at that. You can see the green coming through. Hopefully it shows up. These winter days don't give so much daylight, do they? So I started this and it was quite bright, but it's already, the light is fading. So just work your way around, and this is all this is going to be is trebles. It's a nice calming project. You can sit and watch the television while you're doing it, once you get in the swing of it. And it didn't take me that long to do that chunky scarf. And, you know, it's going to be so warm, and it's so nice to be wearing something that you made yourself. I looked at the price of scarves in the shops. I couldn't believe how much they are, and I'm not talking handmade. I'm talking, you know, you're just your mass-produced, if that's the word, mass-produced scarves. And yeah, I thought, well, really? Is that really the price? I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I was quite shocked. But then, of course, not everybody wants to spend the time. I know you've got to buy the yarn, but quite frankly, the price of some of those scarves, I'm sure that we can make them much cheaper, and we get the satisfaction and the relaxation of making them and carrying out this relaxing hobby. So once you've got all the way around, bearing in mind we're doing a little baby, tiny sample here to show you today. I'm doing trebles all the way around, and you saw that I did stop and take out a couple of times. Just do that if need be. You want to make sure you get both strands. So we've come to the end. There's the end, and there's my 3 chains. I just want to show you the 2 ways you can join. You can join on the top of the 3rd chain with a slip stitch, or you can go into the first proper stitch. I prefer to do that. So put the hook through the stitch or the top of the 3rd chain, yarn over and pull through and pull through. That is completion of your first round. And you can see it gives quite a height already. Obviously this is your little sample I'm doing. I'm going to do 120 chains for this particular yarn mix. When I have finished and I've got all the rounds I want, I'm going to probably aim for 8 to 10 rounds, but it depends how you want it round your neck. If you want it to be looser or tighter to your neck, it's personal what you want. So I'll say 8 to 10 rounds I'll probably do. I'll just bring in this and just show you this was 8 rounds, and you can see it's not going to be far off the same sort of width. When you've done the amount of rounds that you want, let's just say before we go any further, when you've done your slip stitch, just to start the next round, this is important, mustn't forget this, do your 3 chains and then start the treble, go right into that first, where you've done your 3 chains, go right in there, because you don't want a gap. If you start in the next stitch along, you'll get a gap, and I don't like that, and I don't think you will. So I just go and start there and then go into the next stitch and go around. So that's how I want to do mine. Then just remember to take that stitch marker up and put it, either joining if you want to the top of the 3rd chain if you find that easier, or into that first proper stitch, which is what I do. Now in theory that should help with the seam. If you go the way I've done and go into that first proper stitch, you won't get a seam that goes off in either direction, depending if you're right or left-handed. Can you see already that one there? Light's fading, so hopefully you'll be able to see that's quite neatly joined, and hopefully that will carry on a nice straight line with pulling them both together. So that's how I would recommend doing the seaming. And when you finish the amount of rounds you want, just finish off with a slip stitch, cut your yarn and pull through. And then on this infinity scarf, what I decided to do was just do a round of slip stitch when I finished, just to make it neater. And then I went and done exactly the same. I just went along the foundation row and I did another round of slip stitch. I just thought that neatened it off nicely, and that's what I'll do with this. So I'll just say this is the last round, for example. I'll just go in each stitch with a slip stitch, and then I will do the same, and I'll pick up this foundation row and all these little foundation stitches. I'll go along and I'll do a round of slip stitch, and it just finishes it off nicely. So that's it. It's not difficult, and there's just various ways you can do the join like I've explained. If you wish, you could always add, instead of doing your trebles, if you're getting fed up, well, not another round of trebles, you could always slip in a little round of double crochet, half crochet. You know, it's, let your imagination go wild. But it's just so therapeutic just doing your trebles, and you will, if you do that, obviously finish it quicker, because these are quite high stitches. So I hope that's all right for you, and I hope that you will enjoy trying this simple pattern. There's many patterns about, but they're all much the same. It's just tweaking them to how you want to do your scarf, your infinity scarf. You could make it smaller and you not so many chains in the round, and you could make it into a cowl. You know, that's the other thing you could do. So obviously that would just go round just on your neck, rather than an infinity scarf which you can wrap round. I like either. I like a cowl or an infinity scarf. I basically like scarves, full stop. Let's face it, that's me. I do like scarves. So I hope that's been informative, and I hope that if you have got any questions, you will feel happy to ask me in the comments below. And until I see you again, click that subscribe button. Why not? It doesn't cost you anything, and then you can see my videos as and when I put them up if you press the bell for notifications. Some people don't like to do the notifications, and that's fine, but if you subscribe then you'll see me with my videos. So until then, happy crocheting everyone, keep safe and keep warm. Make yourself a scarf and keep warmer. Bye for now.